I'd like to start the Open Space Committee meeting with the CPA adoption group here at 7:10 on the 30th of May 2024. And we're being videoed. So, I guess there's a few people that didn't make it today, but
I'm going to keep going.
yep. Has everyone looked at the minutes from the last meeting? And there's any questions? Okay, I move to make a
I'll move we accept the minutes of the April 25th Open Space and Community Preservation meeting.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right. And so the agenda for this meeting is somewhere here. Yep.
I just want to say, if you haven't had a chance, or you weren't here at the meeting, Ann Mazar gave a great presentation. You can call it up on the YouTube channel and watch it. It's very good. Just go search by that date, I think.
So this is the agenda, okay. Okay, so start with, did everybody get the copies of all the things from this, his name is Chase Mack from the CPA Coalition in Boston. He's very helpful. And he sent me these, for instance, the CPA projections, how much how much we would be, percentage we would ask for and what we would get if you took out the first $100,000 exemption and also the low and moderate income exemption. You can look at what your house is valued at, say $300,000. That if you were at 1%, you'd be paying $41 a year for this.
With no exemption.
With no exemptions. Yep, $27 this is, half a tank of gas in a lot of vehicles. So we're not asking for a lot. He said that the person that we listened to the last meeting, and they adopted the CPA 20 years ago. And there were very few, they really scored on things, and they went for the 3%, and it really worked out well for them. This person I talked to, Chase, he said those days are kind of over. There's 196 communities that have adopted it, and that basically 1%, he said 1 or 1.5% for a small town like Douglas, which has a high Republican basis, would be more likely to get voted in. And if we got it voted in, we could, ask for more if it showed such success. But because there's so many communities that have adopted it, the payback is less than what Ann got in Mendon for 3% 20 years ago. So, we need to decide whether we want to go for what percent we would want to go to, but also due to time constraints, we can't get it on. They don't accept any of this at a special town meeting. So the only way really we have to go about this for the next election would be to get the signatures, 500 signatures on ballots, ballot petition. And he basically he said, Chase said that, I think 1/3 of, 1/3 of all the ones that have been adopted have been through a ballot petition, so it's not an unsuccessful technique. In the last 10 years, only 3 have gotten the 3% level. 7 towns are up for it in this coming election, and we would need to get the petition in by the end of August. Officially, it's beginning of September, but needs to be a little bit of leeway for political, whatever, someone gets in the way or gets shoved behind something and gets lost, but,
And you're saying so that this would appear on the November ballot?
right,
Okay.
yeah. So, and at the moment, the base state match is 21% as of last November. So we really need to read the ballot question petition and get that going. And publicity, donations, private donations, because you can't raise money through government anyway. So,
I think you could have a ballot committee, though.
right, that I mean, as far as donations to get signs and
Right.
flyers and things like that to promote it. So it'd be a little bit of fundraising maybe for people who, but, and there is a lot of, there's a lot of information available for us to pick through at that website, coalition, so. But, I don't know, do you think 1% would be a good, 1.5%? They recommend not to go over, $50 is a good little stopping point for getting it in over a year's time. It's a surcharge to the tax, it's not an additional tax.
Did everybody get this grid?
I didn't pull it up. I will when I go.
You got one? Yes. It was an attachment on his email.
So, if I may, I have a question. Would this be on the ballot for the presidential election?
Yes, if we get it together by the end of August. If we get 500 signatures by the end of August.
So
Yeah.
something you need to think about is that more people come out for a presidential election than a regular town election.
Well, that's what Chase said, it's, 80%. Basically, he said people come out for the president, not, maybe not
So-
Douglas Summit.
No, okay,
You know where I'm going.
we're going for, the recommendation is to go for the November election because so many people turn out.
Okay.
Because otherwise, there's such a small number that, no, this is,
Can work both ways, is what I'm saying.
Right. But it is a small amount, and, low-income people are obliterated from it as the first 100,000, so, it's
exempt.
exempt, obliterated, yeah, it's a better word.
Yeah. True.
But, and Chase said that basically he thinks it's a better way to go about it with the ballot because you're actually explaining to people what it is rather than just throwing it at them and they're like, oh, more money, forget it. But if they know what they're, if we get the information out to people that it's really just a small amount of money that mounts up to, you can see how much it would build up to over what we would get. It's 100, how much, I forget, it's 162,000 or something we would raise each year. And we would have to put a little bit into certain amount, 10% into housing
Housing, open space, housing,
and recreation.
and recreation, and then the rest is more discretionary.
So that's 30% of the 162,000. And then, see what else is needed.
You can use it to match for grants, you can use it towards a whole bunch of things.
Yep.
Because otherwise, we're leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
There's money sitting there that other communities have accessed.
Yeah, so there's 351 towns in Massachusetts, so 196 is like a little more than half. But
With 1.5% in the $100,000 exemption, at the highest valuation, that's $81 a year.
yeah, and that's what, a $700,000 house or something?
Yeah, 500,000 plus. So
Yeah.
I actually don't think that's reasonable, that bad.
If you break it down, it's like a coffee every month.
Yeah, it's a pack of cigarettes.
I'm not opposed to it, believe me, because we wanted to do this when I was on the Board of Selectmen some years ago. Actually had Mary Lynn Doobie went to Boston for some of the courses.
Yeah, I have that.
And then we were fighting, it looked like, this is not going to go, but, yeah, no, it needs to. We need to get some of the funds that everybody else is getting.
Right.
I agree.
It's the little towns that don't have any,
Yeah.
much going on that have not adopted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Did he have sample petition language?
no, but he says in here, one of these sheets, it says there was a,
It is on the website, because I was looking at the website today.
Okay.
right,
So the website's got a lot of stuff. They have,
yeah, it says right here with the woman in the corner, view petition language, view sample petition
Oh,
language.
yeah, okay. I didn't look at the whole,
Yeah,
everything that.
yeah, I just got it today, so. But,
they also offered a free CPA workshop for your town. So they offer a free CPA workshop for your town.
wow,
I saw that on the website. So they have CPA campaign materials, website and online tools, talking points in support of it, sample set letters to the editor.
yeah.
There was a lot of information on there.
So do we want to break up different projects? and
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Have someone write a letter to the editor, someone research something else, and ballot question?
No, I think that's a good idea, but I think we have to get the ballot question, well, the percentage, the ballot question, and then while we're circulating the petition, we can do all those other things to keep building interest, keep building momentum.
And try to get more people involved to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that the qualification for the petition to get it on the ballot is 500, but that's 500 certified signatures. Because when you're collecting, has anybody here collected signatures before? So, aside usually from friends and family, say you're standing in front of the post office or you decide to go to a supermarket, like for instance, if you went to Market Basket, what happens at Market Basket is that maybe 1 out of 5 people is actually from Connecticut,
Yeah, that's
and then another 1 out of 5 doesn't know if they're registered to vote or not, but they might sign the petition anyway. And then, especially in that situation, you need a page for every town that's nearby, because when you sign a petition, you can only sign for that community. So in this case, we have it easy because we're only looking for Douglas voters and to sign the petition. But even then, like, my nephew's unregistered, unenrolled, which means he's an independent, but he signed a Democratic nomination paper. And he gets X'd off, okay? Or somebody signs it, Tony the Lion, and his real name, as he registered, is Anthony B. Lyon. You know, they can kick it off for anything. So you always build in a percentage, or you over-collect. Because when you go to ask for the certification, the clerk checks off every name, make sure the address is correct, you're going to lose a bunch. So you have to aim for at least 600 plus. So between your friends and family, and then just talking it up and going to local events and keep working it, if we go door to door in some neighborhoods, I think we should do it in teams. But, you know, I'm happy to sort of coordinate the whole petition aspect.
Okay.
And everybody can recruit a buddy. Because in Douglas, we have long driveways and a lot of space in between houses sometime. And it's good to have one person driving, one person hopping out, alternating and things like that, so. But this has to be, you know, we have June, July, we have 3 months. June, July, and August, which means we need at least 200 signatures a month. And divvy it up between us, figure out how many folks we have circulating petitions. There's usually 20, 25 names on a petition, all right? So we can just keep breaking it down like that. So we need at least 4 petitions out there circulating every month, 4 plus. But we need to get the language down and go for,
So we just see the language and print it up ourselves, or?
I think we have to file something with the clerk.
Okay.
And get it certified, or make it official, and then we can continue to
Make copies and,
make copies and circulate it. Might have to double check with town council and make sure we're not breaking any
Yeah.
Douglas bylaw.
All right. So I don't mind, I could do the ballot petition work to get it, read the information and see if I can get one written up
Okay.
and pass it by everybody to see if they agree, and then bring it to Chris Burnham.
So do we want to talk any more about what percentage we think is reasonable?
I can afford 1.5.
I'm okay with 1.5. But that's just.
It's, you know, it's a little bit more than the other, than 1. It doesn't, if they're going to get rid of, if they're going to say that, if they're not going to vote for 1, they're not, you know, 1.5 isn't going to make that much difference, I don't think, to. And it's just a little.
Yeah, I think it's a safe bet to go smack dab in the middle.
Yep.
Right.
That's a good idea, put it in the middle, yep.
It's-
Yep. Anybody disagree with that?
Let's go for it.
All right. 1.5.
So, but then is 1.5, part of the qualifier is included with exemptions.
With exemption. Yeah.
Okay, so the first $100,000 of your home's value is exempted. So if your home has a $400,000 value, you're only looking at 1.5 on the $300,000.
Yeah.
And then
and the-
if there's then there's the income,
The low moderate
Low.
income, right?
the low and moderate income exemption. I think that's reasonable too.
And then there's a third one about,
Moderate senior,
well, it's, yeah, there's a senior one.
moderate senior income,
and-
housing, income.
I don't know if we have enough housing here. That's something we'll have to check on.
how about Middlebrook?
But they don't own.
They
that.
don't own it, that's right. And then,
This is owners only.
yeah, there was supposed to be a low-income one up at North Street. I don't know, and I don't know if it's still considered a low income.
Thinking low or
Condos are pretty
affordable?
expensive.
Or
to be
maybe
low
that's
income.
affordable.
Affordable is.
Yeah, because I forget how much they're valued at.
Then there's the commercial and industrial taxes. That was a part of it as well. I'll read up on that, but yeah, I don't know whether it's.
So I think with the language, as simple as possible, but to make sure that we have the exemptions we want included.
Okay, and I'll check senior and commercial, industrial. It was something about if they, depending upon how they were taxed or whatever, it was the
Well, I think they
industrial
should contribute if, there's no reason.
No, they're more valuable properties than
But
any of them.
it might be, some communities have a flat tax and some communities have a graduated, so maybe it's tied to that.
Yeah,
Or there's a split tax, or there's a residential and then there's commercial industrial. I'll have to check.
yeah. Yeah. All right. All right, well, that's important. Next, we could, what's more jobs that we could do?
Does anybody know I am, because a graphic designer who could create a logo for us?
Kate?
I may know someone.
Yeah,
I might.
all right. Just to make the flyer?
We need a brand.
Like a logo design.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Put us on the-
I'll ask around. It's possible.
put us on the map.
Okay, we'll put Sarah in charge of the,
We need a visual, you know? Every time you see it, you're like, oh yeah,
yeah.
Frosted Flakes, that's right.
Tony.
So you want the
Tony the
media
Tiger
poster?
thing, I don't know. Like Tony the Tiger. Frosted Flakes.
I actually heard him in California.
Oh,
The one
yeah?
that, The Voice,
Yeah.
yeah.
But if anybody has an idea of what that could look like, it's not the easiest thing to roll off your tongue or to visualize.
Ask Chat GPI.
There you go. Sarah, ask Chat GPI.
Right?
Yeah,
You might be surprised.
I know. It's got a bigger brain than I do.
Yeah.
So a logo, and then, because then we can, who's a social media? Who's social media?
I do.
Are you?
I do, yes. Yeah.
Well, she could be our, can you be our social media?
I can do social media things. Yeah.
I know, we talked, like, we don't want it to be on Facebook subjected to like ridicule and everything like that. We
Yeah.
wanted it to be, before when we talked, just like, these are the facts. Don't bother to come back with it to us on, this- with your opinion on all this stuff. But just to keep the activities posted and
Yeah.
things like that.
So what would that look like in terms of not Facebook?
No, Facebook, but
it's like-
just.
Positive.
Just-
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
outgoing, no comments.
Yeah.
You'd restrict comments type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. That's something you could do.
If
Okay.
we could give examples of how
Yeah.
Occasional, yeah.
the having the Community Preservation Act would help us develop a great trail system at the Keven property. Okay? Or having the Community
Yeah.
Preservation Act would help us develop a new soccer field for, what do we call them, the Douglas Axemen, or,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. So we can
Things like
keep
that.
people related to what it's all about and the benefits.
Yeah. I think that would be
Keep drilling home
important.
that it's not that much money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the
Yeah.
first thing people say to me, now's not a good time to ask for money. And I'm like, but it's not much.
It's
just a
never a
little."
good
Yeah,
time.
if
have
we
to
could
give
figure out
examples of the
about
return.
per thousand or something that it's going to be, it'll be, you know, just like,
Yeah.
you know, this is only, you know,
We can give-
$50 per $300,000 home.
Yeah.
How much do the uniforms for your kids in these sports things cost?
How
Or
much you spend on coffee every day? People
That's
buy
it.
those $8
Yeah.
coffees, you know, every single day.
It's true.
I've never bought one.
But education is the key.
Right.
You know, we
Because
have to
people
keep
just
showing.
hear money and they shut down. They do.
Yeah.
And some of the examples that Ann gave at the presentation of how piggybacked and increased the money, because they had this. It was really, really good examples of how much extra money they could have gotten, that they
Yeah.
did get, actually.
Yeah.
Leverage.
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
what
I
was
think-
looking for.
And being able to look at that too, and maybe sharing some examples from other towns who have done it before us
Yep.
might help people feel a little more comfortable, like other people have done it before me, you know,
Oh, yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
I think it sounds awesome, but
It's such a little amount. for-
it really, well, if you think about it, what is $50 a year? A month, it's,
Yeah,
you don't even notice that,
right.
really.
And also tie into the open space and recreation plan in the survey, which
Right.
is people wanted to
Yeah.
preserve open space and agricultural and the rural character of this community.
Yeah.
So they will point that out to them. Remember what you said?
Yeah.
What
Or
you
you could
wanted.
say, this
is how you do
what
that.
was listed as recommended
Yep.
in the open space, and this is the way that we would get.
And you can see a tangible result. It's not like your tax dollar that goes into the general fund and then you don't know, it's hard to track where it goes. This is something that you can later say, hey, your community preservation dollars went to buying Betsy a new home. Or making her home, yeah, putting her home on the
She wants an
historic
old
register.
home.
Is your home on the historic? No.
No, the only one that's on the historical register is Jamestown.
Yeah.
Yep,
The only one in town.
yep.
Yep. Okay, so social,
Yeah, I can do that.
and then we need some articles for the newspapers that we can, we can all pitch in and write those.
Yep.
And pictures, right? Like we did with the open space plan, we need pictures of, this is what, a new trail could look like, or this is what an upgrade to, like the old grammar school, or, building
Yeah.
facilities, or the historic commission, what you want to preserve. What could go towards that. So we need to use, so if you're out and about, take pictures of the older buildings, or when you're on the horses, take some pictures.
Plus, the town will have a say, the residents, because any project, it's going to go before the committee that
Yeah.
you submit.
And then voted
it has
in.
to be voted on by the town
Yeah, town
people.
meeting, yeah.
So it's,
Yeah, nothing gets slipped
right,
under.
everyone has
Yeah, it's very visible.
a voice in it.
And this is also so we can do more geographically, because we looked at the other, we're looking at the map basically in quarters. Douglas is pretty much a square, close to a square, and we're looking at the different quarters to see, what kind of opportunities are in this quarter versus the other quarter. And when we're growing, we want to make sure that kids have playgrounds or fields to access that are fairly close by, so they don't have to travel across town and things like that, so that more equitable distribution.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we just looked, Building and Facilities Committee just looked at buildings in the town that are abandoned, like the old school, the old fire station, the
Yeah, I watched
small,
that video.
small school up Douglas Town. And then there's the, where the pipeline, but the water department and the town preserved about 40 some odd acres there because they want to protect the water. The water up there that is for public water that flows into town. So, and then the middle, the middle school downtown, the old middle school. It's abandoned. But the structure of it, but it takes lots of money to
Do any of those things.
do anything with it. So it basically, there's talk of selling it. Yeah. But if the town was involved with this, you could get grants,
Yep.
and you have money to, and you had an idea, and the town had this in place, a lot could be done with it.
Makes it a little more possible, yeah,
Yeah,
financially, yeah.
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 And other communities have done things like that.
All right. What else?
But, I don't know, Sarah, can we take something like Ann's presentation and put it in a rotation? Do we talk to,
You could talk to Pat about doing that.
okay. Thanks.
Yep.
Something else you might want to keep an eye on, too, is the fact that they're doing a new master plan. And it needs to be updated because it should be updated every 10 years. And I think it's more than that now,
It
but
is
there is...
98, yeah.
Yeah, there's a committee that is working on that, and you need to maybe keep an eye on what they're talking about as far as where things,
It's actually on the back of that whiteboard.
yes, I knew it was in here somewhere because I had seen it earlier. But that's just the beginning. They're having meetings, and,
There's a
You
lot of
could-
suggestions on the
yeah, yeah.
We've heard them all, yeah.
So you might keep an eye on that, too.
Well, to that, maybe we can divide up and package a little presentation together and then go to each meeting in town and make a presentation. Go to the rec committee, because they should be
Yeah.
tied into this too, and make a presentation. Go to the cemetery commission and make a we can go to all these meetings and make a presentation and ask people to sign the petition and then
Yeah.
buy into it and join us.
Yeah.
Okay, I get like the signature part. Do we need to make this an official committee?
I thought we did last time.
Not really.
We didn't?
Not that I know of, but
I don't think it was officially quote unquote appointed. Because Matt said this open space could appoint a subcommittee.
I'm not sure. Okay.
That's a good point.
a subcommittee of the Open Space Committee, right?
Right. So
So I could ask Chris tomorrow, or, what, if everybody here is interested in being on this committee, then I can just give her the names and ask her what we need to do next to make it an official committee, a subcommittee.
You might have to wait till Monday, because,
Right, yeah,
yeah. Good.
all right.
Because we had a couple other folks from last time, too, that
Yeah.
keep.
I'm just sitting in, making suggestions, comments, because I'm on enough committees.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, me too.
Oh, no.
Find out what.
But I don't mind
Right, right.
participating
No, we
and
like having-
offering
yeah.
comments, and glad to help.
Yeah, you got a ride and everything, dinner, shower. All right. Yeah, so-
What else?
And I can notify, ask, like Scott Garland and who else?
Get some new people, sure, and some regular old timers out there that,
Dick Skinner. I can make a call to them and then just ask them if they want to be on the subcommittee, and then we'll write up a list. Okay. All right. All right.
You might ask the guy that you talked to that gave you information,
Chase?
yeah, if it has to be a separate committee, or if it can be a subcommittee of the open space.
Okay. Yeah, he's very helpful. Yeah, he said he was going to email me the stuff, and then he said, oh, some medical emergency of his boss, so he was like the only one in the office for a week.
Yeah.
What else? What are we missing?
Boy, no, I'm trying to think in my head, how would you confront, you're right, I think you're right about people, the minute you bring something up that costs them $1, they jump out of their skin, like,
Yeah.
what's this for now, you know? You try to avoid having that conversation.
Well, or that's the beauty of the petition, is you get to engage and have a conversation and explain it to them.
I mean, I think if you can get the town leader or someone under a positive outlook on this, then maybe that will trickle down.
Our conservation agent or whatever, he seemed pretty negative about it.
You know, so, I mean, that's my thought. If we can get people that are out in the community and doing something in the community that would agree to it, I think it might do well.
And we really have to drill home that it's not a lot of money.
Right, but
Right.
since everything is so expensive, it's
Yeah.
just
Right.
one more
Right.
thing, too.
And I'll be honest, that's the reaction I've been getting from people around town that I've chatted with about it. And I'm like, it's a great idea, you know, and they're like, yeah, but it's not a good time to ask people for more money.
Never, when is it ever?
It's never a good time to
Exactly.
ask for more
Right.
money,
We'll
but
be asking you for more if you don't do this, because in order to make those fixes,
Because
then,
you are going to get taxed
Right,
that
right.
eventually,
Yeah.
because they're going to need to do these.
if you want any of these things ever happening, then, yeah.
the difference is if we go through it this way, we are getting money like matched, you know what I mean? As opposed to eventually a hammer comes down and you're going to have to pay this to restore things and build things anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
People don't understand that, I guess.
But that's a good point, because we can set up some role-playing to be able to facilitate these dialogues with people so that we're comfortable when we get confronted. We'll have some, we'll be used to having some comebacks. We can try it out on each other and we
Yeah.
practice.
We'll wear costumes at the next meeting.
Perfect.
Like they tell you, dress up in your suit before you make a call to accompany you about a job. All right. So, all right, anybody else have anything to add?
I could start looking over all the materials they have for
Yeah, there's,
presentations and stuff.
right, there's a lot in
See if we
that.
can pull something together from what they've already got.
And is that all available? Is that this website that's written here, the community preservation website? So, yeah, so I
Right.
can go check all that out too.
Right. And any questions, feel free to call Chase Mack.
Okay.
He's amazing. He picks up Chase, you know, so,
Perfect.
That's nice.
yeah. All right, well, how about our next meeting? This is a paper here. What do I have for,
So since we have a lot to do in a short time, how about next Thursday? Same time, same place?
I could do that, just pump it up, yeah.
Next Thursday for me would be, next week is just tough because it's the week before my son's birthday party.
How old's he turning?
18, so we're doing a big graduation thing on Saturday, so,
Yeah.
but after that,
Yeah, and I'll be tied up next Thursday with another meeting.
You sound like me, Becky.
So then the next Thursday, oh, I'm out. Is there a better day?
I did bring my calendar, so I don't know.
Well, maybe if we can focus on, a couple of us focus on the petition, you know, and getting that rolling, because,
Yep.
so if the 6th isn't, or maybe we should just do it, whoever can come, comes. And then we do another one, I don't know, on the 20th? Would you be free on the 20th?
Yeah, that would work. We have got a Bay State meeting, plus on the 9th, we have our huge National Trails Day fundraiser ride going. So we're,
And then you're at my annual meeting on the 13th, which is a Thursday. So let's try the 6th for whoever can make it, and the 20th. These are both Thursday nights.
Okay, I'll book both of them with the town clerk. Meetings, 7 PM. All right. Just keep moving so we can really crank it out June, July, and August. June, and May, June, yeah. June and July, that's it. Well, a little bit of August.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, once we have the petition down, we don't, you know, I can meet 101, or we can just get them distributed if we're collecting signatures, and we can just go.
Yeah.
And then I just have to keep a tally and make sure we know how many signatures we're collecting.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get on that on Monday. If I make it home from New York City. I was thinking flyers. It's a cute little flyer to make flyers, but we'll see. If we need them, we don't, maybe we won't need them.
Or maybe a flyer with a QR code,
Yep. Yeah, this is,
Right.
yeah, this has one.
a little half sheet or something that, okay. And then once we get our logo, Sarah, we need lawn signs. Okay?
Yeah. All right.
But we can do some of that between the end of the petition and November.
About Ann, Ann from Mendon, did she indicate if they did lawn signs, or also Sue from Franklin?
Yeah, Franklin did lawn signs.
They did,
They passed theirs 2 years ago, I think.
yeah.
Franklin, Bellingham, I mean, not Bellingham, Franklin, Hopedale. And then Northbridge, I think maybe did theirs maybe almost 4 years ago.
That was for Castle Hill Farm?
No, well, they passed the
Help for that.
CPA,
Yeah,
and they used some of those funds
Yes.
for Castle Hill.
yeah.
I think
It's a
that
good
was almost
example,
4.
yeah.
You need to,
Yeah.
as a suggestion, how much money was available that gave Whitensville, Northbridge,
Yep.
what they had to do with and the things they could do
Well, and they
with
continue
the,
to do.
yeah, and continue to do, and also Mendon and Franklin, if you could, yeah, the amounts, with just the amount they,
Right, but they collect so much, you know, they get 3%, and it's, you know.
yeah, but
yeah.
I forget what
People.
Northbridge did, Northbridge,
I
Whitensville.
think they did 1.5,
I think so, too.
but I can find out.
Yeah,
Sutton have one?
No.
no,
But it goes back to that, I mean, that leverage story too, because almost every grant that the state gives today, they will only give a matching
yeah,
through reimbursement. So you have to put the money up front, and then they give you half back. But like in Mendon, they were able to, like in one instance, there's a grant for $175,000, and with a match from the town, that gets up to $350,000, which is what they use to buy a conservation restriction on 116 acres of a farm. Or They've got new lights on their basketball courts, paid through CPA funds. They've gotten, it's amazing what they've done, but they also have a couple $1 million in their fund. So that whenever they go out for a grant, that's not a hard sell because they have the matching fund.
So they've been stockpiling it, and then using the 10% for each of the necessary things, and then they have a big amount left.
Because if we tried to do that right now, we would have to go through a town meeting process for any project. And then that would be taken from the general fund, basically. And then you'd still have to do the town meeting process for the CPA, but there would already be funds there, and it wouldn't be raising taxes to create.
To do these projects.
To complete your project, to get funding for your project. It stays in a separate pool, and the town meeting purpose is to decide how to distribute it with the recommendation of a committee. It is not how to raise it. It is not how to, whether we have an override for the library again or not, or something like that. It's a designated pool of money. So.
Yep. All right, anything else, anybody? Nope. Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.